still going to take a little break. But I want to talk about like the history of this area in the Mason-Dixon line. Like to know why Pittsburgh was such an interesting position it's in is because of its location. So while we've been watching the news, we've been trying to catch up on old homework assignments. We missed a lot of school. And our case, I just note some things if you would like to read it on your free time. So we were in child abuse therapy during the time period of 1985. Pretty much it ended once, we were aged out of foster care. So one of the things is that because we missed so much school, that was the main reason we were having difficulties. I felt like we were being starved of an education. When there's abuse going on at home, it's like I feel like we can't really resume our lives. Like I need to go and complete my assignments. I have homework that I wanted to complete. I wanted to leave. I did not like the fact that I was delayed or had any injuries. Like these injuries have delayed me from being able to go to work and school. Like I'm injured. So that I was injured before the truck incident happened. I was injured long before I met any of these people. Meaning my case has already been through the process. Like I'm a little upset because I had to go through so much just to get. I had to walk downtown in the middle of the night from Bellevue to downtown Pittsburgh twice, and that's actually 3 times. And this is why I want my case to get hurt. And when I was driving down through the Mason-Dixon line, where I was being assaulted, and I had gone through this in the back area today, I'm just telling you, like Pittsburgh, knowing the story about Pittsburgh, you got to know the terrain. You got to know a little bit about driving in the area. And unless you're familiar with driving, you probably wouldn't. My dad had driven us in a camper up until before he passed away. So, what it would not make sense for me to let my dad's vehicle go that easily unless somebody was abusing us, and I was in a helpless position. And I reported that sexual assault in April 1999. I had a sex crimes kit, so I had to go through a lot. And I was having difficulties with my sister. Every member of my family was giving me a difficult time after I came back from Carolina. Like I was freezing outside, and I didn't really make the right decisions because I had experienced a lot of issues with medication called Paxil. So I didn't really think about all the stuff that was coming down the pike here. I mean, I experienced a lot of sexual abuse. So that being it said, I want to get back to living my life. Like I want my truck. I want to be able to have my freedoms. And every time I try to get help, I was being trapped in the car. I ended up trapped again and again and again. My belongings are gone again. Like, I have nice things, so it's obvious to me that there was, where this was going. You know what I mean? Like the type of complaints are, like if you were listening to the type of complaints and you looked at some of the behavior that I just went through, what I had to witness just to go back from Branson, just to fly all the way out here, or like somebody's lunging into my face. Like I'm gonna tell you, I'm not used to being in the middle of a physical altercation with a woman at the shelter twice. These are offenses that occurred twice, and going into my purse. And then what I was upset about is that for over a week I had to sit there and watch Stacey DeThomas. They gave her consideration. Like in my home, you would have just been out the door. There would have been no reason to keep them. And the reason why we're sharing it is because not one of us asked to be lured back into it. Not one of us asked to be brought back into it. Not one of us even wanted to come back here. And I'm going to tell you, right after this happened, the camper's gone. My dad's, the Chevy Nova's gone. And this is all forms of control. All forms of control to take more rights away from the victim. All right. If you haven't already noticed, the victim is in a helpless position. All right, so you would use strategy. Like to me, I would strategize like, how can you help each other as a group? Like, what would you be able to walk away with as far as like exercising some basic freedoms? Like, I would use whatever resources are available to me. Like, I wouldn't ignore the help that's there, Like, to me, anytime somebody is continue the cycle of abuse, you can tell that it's already gone too far. It's called pushing the envelope, as you can tell. So we're going to do this with artwork. We're going to push the envelope for a while. And we're going to talk to some experts, and we're going to have some experts that will help us through it, whatever it is we have to get through. Okay? Apparently, when I look at like a pair of footies, when I look at a pair of Justice, the slippers and things like that, if you haven't already noticed, there's been a pattern of behavior that it's pretty obvious. Like the offenders can't hide their abuser. Like if they're involved, they would have, you know what I mean? It wouldn't have gone on this long. Not with a professional, not at the risk of losing your job and your family. Most victims are not going to take these scary risks. What I would tell you though, because of all the privacy violations and all the sexual abuse that went on, it might take a while. So the process is, it's difficult. It will be much better once the legal process is complete. Like there's a 90-day investigation. There's a bunch of other things that, some general rules, during investigation time, so that no one is re-victimized. And this is why you contact the Department of Health and Human Services and have a welfare case open. In this case, a welfare case, like how your safety was jeopardized. Like you could go through all of it. And the good thing is that we all had a case open, and our case being that, you could talk to a therapist, you can go to a lot of other functions, like other than, being beat on and harmed. All right, so we're going to get you the help you need right now, okay? So whoever was hurting us over the shower or over the building or anything that was going on that was, against your will, please know, no woman, no man would be allowed to do this. They wouldn't be allowed to use or utilize those type of services. They wouldn't be allowed to do that. You know what I mean? So we already know the kind of people that wouldn't take advantage of you. They're not there to take advantage of anybody. In fact, I think it's opposite. If there's careless, reckless behavior, will be noted. They're dealing with the district attorney's office. They're not dealing with anybody else at this point. No, they're going to deal with the district attorney's office. This is the only way it's going to get resolved. They can't continue down the road that anyone went down, especially after what happened down at the T, especially after all the other incident reports, especially at some of the restaurants and some of the other places of employment, and what happened in the shower. There's no getting around. They're not going anywhere until this gets resolved. Like whoever beat whoever down, it's already noted. There's already a case history and a caseload. So there's no change in the facts. It's just a matter of whatever the judges decide. And it'll go to the Civilian Review Board, no matter what happens from here, okay? I actually did not realize the extent of the abuse, like what I was going through with the cigarettes in the back. I had no idea. That's why this morning, while taking a shower, I witnessed other things, also what happened on the farm, also some other things that, see, this is so out of character, so that's why I'm saying it's obvious, It's obvious to me. It's obvious to me because it's out of character for my family. It's out of character for us to go, not be able to go to school or work. Like, it's out of character. Like, we're used to having freedom. So already I know it's a false imprisonment case because naturally, somebody who gets trapped on the side of the highway, like without a friend or somebody to call, like it's already a false imprisonment case. Like whatever was going on in the back of the window or back in the door, it's already been. That's why I believe they're using this case and they're exploiting it, and that I want the judge to intercede right now, and I want it to stop right now. So the only way to stop it is having the judge enforce a strict PFAs. That's the only way. The people involved who are sexually assaulting us, or sexually assaulting me, they have to have a PFA and they have to enforce it this time. We asked for help from the judge in Branson. They wouldn't help us. There were subpoenas. I had a subpoena in 2011 in the fire case. I didn't get this information until a year later. I'm supposed to receive a PFA paperwork, and I'm just going to tell you guys, you can't exploit me anymore. I don't try to be rude. But my dad was very difficult to deal with. Like, some of this was fabricated, and I think he admitted to some of this, and some of the things that were all done. Like, whenever I went out to my Volkswagen Jetta, my battery was gone. The same thing happened with the Mazda 626 when I was down there. There were several incidents of domestic violence with my dad alone, just like my dad grabbed my brother Matt down the steps when he was like a little boy, and my dad would apologize, you know what I mean? Like, there would be that honeymoon phase. This went on for years, like, you know, bugs in our pants, not feeling good, you know. It was actually very difficult to live in my home, you know, and my mom and I would, you know, we actually started getting along at one point, you know, like, because, see, there was a time that both my mom and dad had issues, and we, you know, individually, clearly I remember what it was like, whenever we would, my dad would be smoking a cigarette, he would be smoking Camels, and, it kind of reminds you of the movie Officer and a Gentleman. The dad, well, that was kind of like how my dad was. He was an old Marine. So most people who grew up around that time, if you watch the movie Officer and the Gentleman, that's kind of how my dad was. He wasn't a bad person, but he also had a set of problems going on. And when you see the movie comparing to Officer and Gentleman, the scene with the dad and father, that's kind of what it was like. My dad had worn boxers and smoked Camels, basically. And by the time I talked to Judge Ivel, he couldn't believe, I had gone through all this again. And he's like, why are you even in court? And I didn't want to be there, I didn't want to be thrown into this again with my dad, especially after what we've been through.